So, Duke Tobin talked today about a lot of things. Talked about Jamar Chase situation and the priority of making sure Jamar Chase gets signed, which he did say is on the top of the list, the top priority, which, for being honest now, we've heard that same thing for a year now. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see. My guess is T and Jamar Chase are the top of the list. Now that they have the same agent, they can kind of do a group deal and get that situation done and over with. But at this moment in time, we'll have to wait to see if that contract gets done anytime soon. So then he talked about the Trey Hendrickson situation, right? Trey Hendrickson obviously had another fantastic year. Trey Hendrickson going into this year was very clear with what he wanted. He wanted a longer-term contract. He negotiated a 2-year deal. He didn't want that anymore. He wanted more job security, especially with him being older. Obviously, injuries will happen once you get older. He wants more job security for the future. Bengals said, okay, we'll think about it, right? Because at the time, they just got done a contract with him, and according to the NFL, you can't rework a contract within a year of signing one. So there wasn't really much that the Bengals could do, and it really just came down to, Trey just trying to make it clear what he wanted. No big deal at all. Well, Duke Tobin has now addressed this offseason if he's going to get a contract extension. And I want to go up to the very top here because he says he has earned a pay raise in a bump in an extension. He has. We recognize that, and we will give that to him. But whether we agree on what that looks like is what is to be determined. Which, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they could say, hey, we think you earn an extension. He's like, yeah, I do. I played great football, played amazing. And they're like, yeah, here's $5. Good job, champ. You get a pat on the back. And he could be like, yeah, I won $50 million, right? So obviously at the end of the day, they're open to give him an extension because of course they are. Why would you not want the best player on your defense on your team for longer? But at the same time, they're probably going to want to try to get a deal out of him and try to rework this contract to push money toward the future so that they can have more money right now to get the T. Higgins situation done, Jamar Chase situation done, Mike Hilton's a free agent, B.J. Hill's a free agent, right? You get all these guys free agents. So they're going to try to rework this around to get that all figured out, which, to be honest, makes sense. So for the most part right now, we're kind of in that gray area where there's a lot of mouths to feed, okay? And I think right now the most important priorities is a couple things. Number one, Jamar Chase contract needs to get done. It needs to get done right now. T. Higgins, you need to get him signed. Trey, 100% he's number 3. You got to get this contract worked out. But I would actually push that number 3 down the list. And here's why. It's not because I love Trey. Obviously, I love Trey, right? We have free agency in about a month and a half. Okay? Trey, we can work this contract out anytime this offseason. He's still on contract for another year. We can work this out whenever. But what we can't work out whenever is T. Higgins' deal, because T. Higgins is a free agent in about a month or so. We can't work out forever for B.J. Hill, Mike Hilton, Mike Gesicki. These are all deals that need to get done now. We can't push these down the road. So, while yes, Trey Hendrickson deal will get done, and I do want to give an extension, it's one of those situations where you just got to go based on priorities. He did continue to say, we can't have guys at the top of the payroll in every position, right? We'll do what we can. We'll do what feels right, and we'll try to get Trey re-signed. It's not giving anyone an extension. It's agreeing with someone on an extension. Yeah. And again, at the end of the day, he's not wrong. We're paying a lot of money for this offense. We got a $60 million quarterback. We got in the end, a wide receiver 1, Jamar Chase, who's going to get paid probably $38, $39 million a year, maybe 37, depends on how they work it out. We got T, who's probably going to make around 25, 26 a year. It's a lot of money to spend on offense. And you also got to look at the fact that defense, we need to spend a lot of money on defense. So there's only so much cap that goes around. I know Mike Brown talks about the pie analogy and trying to get that all to work out, but he's not wrong. There is only so much pie to go around, and there's a lot of things that needs to get worked out. So at the end of the day, this is their job, right? This is what the front office job is to do, is to make everything work out and put the best players on this roster to be as successful as possible. But I think everything comes in due time, and everything needs to get worked out in order of priority. So, again, this situation with Trey, he's going to get an extension. He needs to get an extension. He deserves one. But I think it really comes down to priorities here. And we have our priorities first, and then we need to get to Trey. That's kind of how I look at it. Because, again, like I said, Trey has already made it very vocal. He won't sit out. He won't refuse to play. He said he keeps his business and then his as a player separate, because it says not right for other players that to deal with him not going out there and trying because he hasn't got paid or hasn't got a new contract. So at the end of the day, I will say I think there will be a due time for this to happen, but it definitely does happen after we get everything else squared off. And this is a beginning of the offseason. You got the combine, which obviously is going to take a lot of time and effort for our front office. You got the free agency. You got franchise tags to talk about. You got the draft upcoming after that. And then you got training camp preseason. So there's a lot of things going on in offseason. I know a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, the offseason, whatever. But this is like really busy time for everyone. So they got to figure out all these things, make sure all these things check out and balance out, which I think they will. But 100% Trey needs to get a new deal. I agree with that 100%. But again, like I said, it's all due time. It just really all comes down to when is it right? When is the moment right? When is it going to get done? Well, once we get done everything else that's a priority as well. And these are all priorities. It's not like we're pushing Trey down the list, but you got to start looking at things that are the most important and then kind of go down. We have a lot of money. We're going to have to cut some players and get rid of some players, but it's all going to work out in the end. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one. Peace.